Hello, my name is Cheryl Meyer, otherwise known as Cheryl M. Health Muse, and I am a health coach. I want to welcome you to my podcast, It Feels Good to Feel Good, Future-Proof Your Health. This is a weekly show that will share lifestyle changes that you can make to support your health yourself. Why do I want to share this information with you? 7 years ago, after being a business owner for 20 years, I woke up one morning in horrific pain where every bone and every joint in my body hurt. I went to the doctor. She ran lots of tests, and then she ran some more, and then she ran some more, and finally she called me and announced she was going to give me steroids, but there was absolutely nothing wrong with me and I should seek therapy. I knew something was wrong. I hurt. So she told me I would be on steroids for the rest of my life, and I refused that I was going to have a life of pain and pills. So why was I going to take steroids if there was nothing wrong with me? So I dug in and started researching, and I turned my business over to my staff. I found a functional doctor who confirmed that I had autoimmune disease. By making a series of significant lifestyle changes that I could do for myself, 5 years later, I had returned to relative health. The best part is that I am now 70, and I feel better now than I did when I was 50. I no longer hurt, which is huge. I will always have autoimmune disease, but losing the pain has been amazing. I went back to school at 67 and became a health coach because I want to share everything that I learned with others. And I wrote a book called It Feels Good to Feel Good, Learn to Eliminate Toxins, Reduce Inflammation, and Feel Great Again, as the manual I wished that I had had when I got sick, and my book has won 13 awards. So whether you want to future-proof your health and grow old with dignity and grace without dementia and chronic pain and disease, which you don't need to get, or whether or not you already have a chronic condition like autoimmune disease or cancer or heart disease, and you want to learn about what things you can do to improve your long-term health, or whether you want to improve the health of your families and raise healthy children, because 53% of our children have a chronic condition, I look forward to sharing all this information with you. I will tell you, it truly does feel good to feel good, so let's get started. I look forward to having you join me here every week, and I want to give you hope that if you have chronic pain or chronic disease, you can make changes that will improve your health. And if you don't want to go there, you're going to be fine if you listen to the show and put these things into work. I want to give you information so that you can grow old and have a better tomorrow. So thank you for joining me. Let's get started. Welcome to another edition of It Feels Good to Feel Good, Future-Proof Your Life. This is the second podcast of this series, and what I did in the last podcast is I listed the 45 different areas that you control, that you can work on to improve your health. Now, obviously, you're not going to work on all 45 at the same time, but each of the 45 is important. Some of them I have covered in previous podcasts, but I've learned more. So I wanted to go through them all in a more continuous way so that you could get the full picture of all the different things you can work on that are lifestyle changes, which epigenetics says will improve your health because you have the control to not turn on your genetic switch. This way, if you work on these different 45 areas, you can leave that switch off and you control your own long-term health. In the last podcast, we only got through the first 3 of the 45 after I listed them all. We talked about building a supportive community. We talked about loneliness and the importance of having a pet, which was something that came out of the Blue Zones as something that brings contentment for your life and happiness, which promotes your health. And the third one was heart disease, which is the #1 killer in the United States. We die of more of heart disease than any other thing. So, where we're going to start today is with liver disease. And why does liver disease come right after heart disease? Well, if you have liver disease, it's the number one contributor to heart disease. So, this information is important because you want to protect your heart because it's that important, but your liver is the workhorse of your body. Now, when I'm done talking about the liver, if you have questions or you want more information, I actually did 3 full podcasts on the liver: what the liver does, what you can eat to have a healthy liver, and what supplementation you can take with your physician's permission so that you build a very healthy liver. I will tell you that I've been working on my liver ever since I got autoimmune disease 9 years ago, and I am just starting to see some giant steps towards liver health. So what I've learned is important, and I keep learning new puzzle pieces to the whole thing about the liver, because the liver, as goes your liver, goes your heart, goes your brain, goes your kidneys, goes your digestive system, goes your body. So your liver is that important. So we're going to start off with how to have optimal liver health. The most important thing you can do, if you watched my liver podcasts, is eat cruciferous vegetables and then bitters, and then eliminate all the toxins that are in your life. And toxins come in all forms. They're sprayed on your food, they're in your cleaning products that you use in the house, they're in the little tiny packets that you wash your clothes and your dishes with, they're in the things that you spray in your house so that it smells good, they're in the perfumes that you spray on yourself to smell good. All of that has toxins in it. It's your stress level. All of these things are toxins, and they all get processed through the liver. So it's really important. Now, healthy foods for the liver. Plant foods are closely related to liver health. They provide nutritional and medicinal support. Apples are beneficial. Apple polyphenol extract has been shown to have hepatoprotective effects on the liver's oxidative stress. Citrus fruits such as grapefruits, lemons, limes, mandarins, and oranges also improve hepatotoxicity. Fennel has shown a large range of antimicrobial activities, especially inhibitory effects on the growth of fungi and aflatoxin production. A number of studies showed the garlic, onions, and leeks have potent hepatoprotective activity and distinct effects on various liver conditions, such as liver fibrosis, liver fluke, or alcoholic fatty liver, or non-alcoholic fatty liver. Foods such as leeks help in the detoxification of the liver and improve overall liver function. Sulfur compounds present in leek bind the toxins and eliminate the compounds present so that you get them out of your body. Furthermore, they reduce liver damage and improve function. Artichokes increase the production and improve function. They also increase the production of bile, which helps get rid of toxins. And the list of plant foods, which are liver protective, is quite long. So the best way to ensure you are getting enough is to make sure that vegetables are a large part of your diet. Now, if you've been watching me at all, you know I believe in variety, diversity, and I want you to eat all the colors of the rainbow on a regular basis. And if you're doing that on a regular basis and you're eating them organic, so you're not adding in extra chemicals and toxins with every bite of your vegetables, then you will start to heal your liver. The liver is an amazing organ. It's a workhorse, but it also can get healed. And so this is why all of this is so important. Eat a healthy diet. Health is multifactional. Eat the rainbow, all the nutrients, phytochemicals, catechins, flavonols, vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, fatty acids create a synergy that creates resistance to disease and a sense of vitality. Eat low sugar. Sugar and fake sugars are toxic and they do real number on your liver. So you want to eat low sugar, low chemicals, and so that means all those things you can't pronounce and don't know what they are in processed foods and fast foods are out. Your body doesn't recognize them, you don't recognize them, and your body doesn't recognize them either. Include healthy omega-3 fats and fiber. I have done several podcasts on how to eat and why eating the rainbow is so important. So if you still have questions about this, go back. Liver disease has been strongly linked to vitamin D deficiency. Active vitamin D has been shown to modulate the immune system, inducing an anti-inflammatory and anti-fibrogenic pattern for the liver. New evidence shows that low serum vitamin D may actually cause non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is called NAFLD. Also, vitamin D has been shown to cut the risk of cancer and help slow down its progression. The cover-up of this information and the promotion of the notion that sun exposure is dangerous has helped the sunscreen industry promote chemically toxic products that are known for causing cancer. So yeah, we need some sun. So it's even recommended for sleep. If you're having a hard time sleeping, get outside and walk, even if it's only for 10 minutes, so that your body gets the natural sunlight, which helps promote natural vitamin D production and also will help set your circadian clock. There is now a warning from doctors and an independent research lab over dangerous levels of carcinogens found in many sunscreens. Years ago, I put on a sunscreen at the beach and literally had to run for the showers because my body was on fire. It was burning me and my skin turned bright red. There are toxins in sunscreens that protect you from the sun, but may also be causing extra toxicity to your body. So be careful of that. You don't get a horrible sunburn by going outside in nature without applying a sunscreen. What happened to common sense, getting some sunlight should not be avoided. So remember, try to get out a little bit every day so that you get some natural sun on your skin. I want to talk for a second about vitamin D3. I just talked to an expert who has a vitamin D test, and I asked him about the difference between vitamin D2 and vitamin D3. Vitamin D2 tends to be vegan, but there are vegan sources for vitamin D3, and your body can utilize vitamin D3 much more easily than vitamin D2. Now, vitamin D2 is what you get with milk. So don't just assume that if you're drinking milk that you're getting enough vitamin D, because you might not be. And vitamin D is important for every function in your body, and without it, your magnesium can't work properly, which is responsible for 325 different enzyme reactions in your body. So vitamin D and magnesium work together to create health and to create different enzyme reactions that you need to be healthy. The later you eat, the less your body is prepared to sleep, which can also have adverse effects on the liver. When you don't sleep well, the muscles which digest and metabolize food have to keep working, which means that your liver cannot focus on doing its main job, which is clearing out the toxins. Secondly, it's important to stop eating when you're 80% full. We've talked about this in several podcasts. Your body will catch up to you and know that it's full about 20 minutes to 30 minutes after you take that last bite. So when you're 80% full, I want you to stop eating because your body will then fill up to full just by sitting it out. By doing that, you're also taking pressure off the liver and the gallbladder because overeating creates pressure. These are two lifestyle habits that will help your liver work efficiently. The liver plays a critical role in your body's health, so Everything you can do to ensure that your liver is working properly is important. People who have fatty liver disease often have a deficiency in magnesium. Make sure the next time you go to your doctor, you ask him to check your magnesium levels to make sure that you have enough. Now, I have had a particularly hard time keeping my magnesium levels at the level that's optimal. I take magnesium in the morning, I take magnesium at night, and I take Epsom salt baths to relax in the evening so that I can relax and so that I can sleep well. And even at that, sometimes I'm still deficient in magnesium. I just recently found out that because I was taking metformin, metformin was ripping magnesium out of my body. So make sure you know what the medicines you're taking are doing to make you deficient in different minerals, and make sure that you ask your doctor to check for those and protect those levels in your body. Guess what the most common deficiency is in heart failure? Yep, it's magnesium. It can not only be a cause, but it can be the answer to heart failure. Magnesium and potassium are needed for the heart. At the same time, the majority of heart medications actually deplete your body of magnesium, and other needed nutrients, and diuretics are notorious for doing this. Dates are especially good for the liver. And liver fibrosis occurs when the liver heals improperly from dealing with toxins. Remember, that's its main function. It is the clearinghouse for all of the environmental toxins that are in your life and that you're eating on your food and that you're getting through your skin and your cleaning supplies, yada, yada, causing excess collagen to build up. Liver fibrosis is the consequence of wound healing that occurs in the liver because of liver damage. When the liver is damaged, connective tissue is formed as a part of the healing process. So collagen and other compounds build up in the liver, affecting liver function. Dates regulate, and dates, I mean the fruit, the date. Dates regulate and reduce the amounts of liver fibrosis that might occur, and therefore it's helpful in disease like cirrhosis of the liver. Dates help the liver to recover better than from everyday wear and tear. Dates were once eaten as a primary food source in many regions of the world because they were prized for their medicinal uses. According to research from multiple studies, the average low glycemic index of dates is 42. This classifies them as a low glycemic index food and safe for even those with diabetes when eaten in moderation. If you check, you can find all kinds of recipes where you can cook things using dates as your sugar source, and they're good for you. Many healthy foods are vilified, and that's unfortunate because the ones that aren't include processed foods, which with added synthetic vitamins, minerals, artificial flavors, and colors are actually harmful to the body. It's as having eaten a few dates is why you have your chronic health condition, when in reality you have it because you didn't consume carrots, sweet potatoes, and even a few sweet fruits that were packed with nutrition and other whole foods that were considered too sweet to even have in moderation. So don't not eat fruit, just don't eat excessive amounts of fruit. Make sure you add some dates in, especially if you like them. You can cut them open and stuff them with either almond cream cheese or regular cream cheese. They're really good for you. You can eat them as a snack. You can eat them to sweeten things. They're a wonderful fruit. Make sure you add them back into your diet. Okay, the next thing on my list of 45 things that we control, that we can do to improve our health, is eating real food. Plan to have plenty of organic fruits and vegetables on hand, washed and at eye level in your refrigerator, so that eating the rainbow in real food is easily accessible. If it's easy, when you open up the refrigerator and it's right there, that's going to be what you go for and what you eat. 75% of what you eat should be plant food. So start off by eating healthy breakfast food, organic eggs with vegetables, organic oatmeal with organic berries. For lunch, make bell jar salads twice a week and grab them on the way out the door. You make your dinner meals on Sunday and freeze them so that healthy food preparation is quick and easy when you walk in the door. You want to make sure that every meal has plant food in it. Before I got sick, I was walking in the door at night and I was overly hungry, still on fast food and fast speed, and I was feeding my body as fast as I could grab things and eat them. And most of what I was eating was processed, filled with chemicals, and not good for my body. I wasn't getting any nutrition from what I was putting in. No wonder I got sick. With a little planning, this is avoidable, and great health is within reach and takes no more time than eating fake food. And fake food is what I call processed and fast food. It's rumored that even Monsanto, when they still existed, they've been bought now by Bayer, even Monsanto served organic food in their employee cafeteria. Monsanto, which is now owned by Bayer, that makes glyphosate that's sprayed on conventional crops and they're the ones that created GMO crops with the Bt toxin in them. And apparently they realized that toxins in food weren't such a great idea for their employees either and slowed down their work ethics and their work contribution. So organic healthy food helps employees feel healthier, and as a result, they were performing better in the workplace. So you can do that too. You can eat organic fruits and vegetables, and that will make you a better leader. Make sure that you eat the rainbow, and by that I mean all the colors. And you want as much diversity as possible. So if potatoes come in white, and they come in red, and they come in purple, and they come in yellow, you want to eat some of both. Cauliflower comes in white, it comes in yellow, it comes in green, it comes in purple. You want to eat some of all the different colors of cauliflower. They all have different gifts for the body, and they're all super yummy and good for you. The faster from farm to table, the more nutrients are in the fruit or vegetable to fuel your body. Eating 7 or more portions of fruit and vegetables can lower your risk of premature death by a whopping 42%. That's pretty astonishing. This is a quote from Michael Greger, who wrote the book, How Not to Die. It's a great book, so you've heard me talk about him before. I recommend the book. You might want to buy it, but this is a quote from him. An average serving of vegetables may cost roughly 4 times more than the average serving of junk food. But those vegetables have been calculated to average 24 times more nutrition. So on a cost per nutrition basis, vegetables offer 6 times more nutrition per dollar compared to highly processed foods. I'm working right now on a class where I'm going to explain how to afford healthy food, and so that's coming up. And I have a podcast where I touched on much of it, so go back and look at organic and why to eat organic and how to afford it. It was just a couple podcasts ago, so go listen to it. This is also a quote from How Not to Die. If your intent is to shovel as many calories as possible into your mouth for the least amount of money, then healthier foods lose out. But if you want to shovel the most nutrition into your mouth as cheaply as possible, look no further than the produce aisle. So, do you want empty calories, or do you want lush, beautiful, colorful, nutrient-rich calories going into your body? And which one do you think does your body better? And then my last quote from Michael Greger, spending just 50 cents more a day on fruits and vegetables can buy you a 10% drop in mortality. Now that's a bargain. Imagine if there were a pill that could reduce your chance of dying by 10% over the next decade and only had good side effects. Good food doesn't do you harm, it just does you good. How much do you think the drug company would charge if they could make a pill that would improve your longevity by 10%? It's probably going to be more than 50 cents a pill. Now, the next part of eating real food is you got to cook your own food. You cannot let other people control what's going into your body. So you've got to buy it from the closest source to you as possible so that you get prime nutrients, and you've got to cook it. But you can cook it pretty quick. I'm not saying you have to be Julia Child. I'm saying that you need to control what you cook and put into your body and your family's bodies. So make your own lunches, breakfasts, and dinners. It's the only way you get to control the nutrients that you're putting into your mouth. It's the only way to avoid synthetic ingredients, which your body doesn't recognize and cannot use. It's the only way for you to know what you're feeding your body. If you have the right ingredients on hand, you can put dinner together in 30 minutes to an hour. So instead of stopping to pick up food or driving to buy fast food or takeout or going to restaurants, you are going to make it yourself. Now, I can cook faster by opening up my refrigerator, pulling out vegetables I've already gotten up in the morning and taken out some kind of quality protein source, and then I can put together dinner in probably 30 minutes or less. It would take me far longer to jump in my car and drive over to a fast food place, sit in line and order at the little box, and then make my way up to the window and then pick up some crappy piece of junk that is carbonated, refined, processed, just crap. And that's what I'm going to feed my body? I don't think so. And I will tell you, once you start eating real food, your body will complain when you stop eating real food. It likes it. Your taste buds change so that real food starts to taste really good, and your body craves real food because it feels the energy going through it. When I first started eating real food, I could almost feel the nutrients going through my body. And your body is very smart, so let your body talk to you. Okay, next up on the list of things you control. Eat the vegetable and the fruit with its fiber. There's strong evidence to support a link between higher intakes of fiber and lower heart disease risk. Dietary fiber comes from fruits and vegetables and a whole food diet, which help improve cholesterol levels and lower the risk of heart disease, stroke, obesity, and even type 2 diabetes. Pears are one of the best sources for fiber. 1 cup of raw raspberries contains 8 grams of fiber. Every fruit, including bananas, supply fiber. Avocado has 6.7 grams of fiber, along with just a powerhouse full of nutrients, and it's very high in what are known as omega-9 fatty acids, which are super good for you. Artichokes are high in many nutrients and one of the world's best sources of fiber. Then there's broccoli, carrots, beets, and other vegetables that give your body large amounts of fiber. Beans, nuts, and seeds are very high in fiber. Beans are great for fiber, so don't eliminate beans totally from your diet. You need them for their fiber content. Taking care of your heart may come down to nothing more than a whole food diet, less stress, and then exercise and activity. Next up, when you sit down to eat your meals, sit down with family and friends. This also is great to be part of community. And the happiest kids in the world, which are Dutch children, sit down to eat breakfast with their family more regularly than any other kids in the world. So Dutch kids are the happiest kids in the world, and they sit down with their parents for breakfast to eat a high-fiber breakfast first thing to start their day. Loved ones first is one of the Blue Zone's Power 9 lifestyle habits that have been shared by the longest-lived people on Earth. The other thing that's great about eating your meals with your family and your friends, if you haven't done it, I grew up this way. At dinner, we sat around the table and we shared stories from our day. And they became stories that were repeated over and over again. Everyone in my family had a great sense of humor, so we had no problem telling funny stories about silly things that we did. My father was Pennsylvania Dutch, so he used to invert his sentences. So he would say silly things like, don't stand down to cook. But it was kind of like the throw Papa down the stairs, his hat thing from Pennsylvania Dutch. My father inverted all his sentences, and so we had all kinds of fun things to tease my dad about. But trust me, all of us did funny things, and we shared them with each other, and it became a very loving ceremony at dinner time every night that got repeated through the years. And they're some of my best memories of childhood. So if you're not doing that with your family, you're not building the family dynamic the way that you can, and you're not wielding the possibility to have the happiest kids on earth. It's also a great time to hear the kids, to troubleshoot where the kids have had problems in school, to give advice, to lead without them even realizing that you're leading, and placing what your priorities and your ethics and morals are on any given situation. So make sure that you eat with the family, because the benefits are way beyond just how good it is for happiness. Number 8, maintain a healthy weight. I recommend that you take my Ditch the SAD, the Standard American Diet, and Stop Eating Crap classes. Now, why do I recommend that? Because you learn how to eat without eating processed food and fast food, and you learn why eating processed food and fast food is so god-awful for your body. I just am about to start them again. The next class starts on February 1st, but I run them 4 times a year. So if you miss this round, there will be another round where you can join in. And even if you don't implement everything, but you just come to learn and then start to implement little by little, your body will feel so much better. Everybody who's taken my class has commented they didn't think they could do it in the beginning. They didn't think they could ditch the crap, that they could ditch the sugar, they could not eat processed food and all those chemicals, and they did. And not only did they, but they were able to maintain it after the classes were over, and they felt fantastic. So whether you take my class or somebody else's, learn how to eat real food. And the reason I advise taking my class is I don't only talk about sugar and not eating processed and fast food. I also talk about the importance of ditching all the chemicals that are in food, because we've got chemicals everywhere and they're making us sick. If you learn to eat for health, I call it eating for your future health. You stop paying attention to calories. You don't have to count them anymore because you're eating for nutrition, and the weight takes care of itself. Number 9, eliminate real and fake sugar as much as possible. Sugar is addictive. It destroys your gut good biome. Sugar is not good for your gut bacteria. It feeds cancer. Sugar interferes with every organ in your body, and it interferes with your brain. It interferes with your mood as your sugar levels go up and down, and it turns off your feel-good hormones of GABA and dopamine, and it screws around with your insulin and your blood sugar levels, which is why your moods go all over the place. And because it's interfering with your good gut bacteria, there's a direct connection between your gut and your brain up the vagus nerve. Sugar mutes your hormones so that even oxytocin and serotonin are impacted by sugar. It fracks around with your appetite, so it's harmful to your brain and your other organs. And fake sugars are no better. They're chemicals that are doing harm to your body, and they make you gain weight. This is another quote from How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger. Fast food, junk food, processed food, they're simply food-like substances. Limit your sugar and refined carbohydrates in your diet and your child's diet. It's addictive, so limit how much they get to eat. Now, I have parents who say to me all the time on Facebook, but that's what my child wants to eat. You're the parent. Teach them why they don't really want to eat that. Teach them why they really want to eat real food. And my husband has a phrase that children are like little pitchers. If you're eating with them at the table, they will mimic what you eat. They will mimic what you teach them. I even had a mother tell me that she takes her children shopping with her. And even before they're old enough to read, her youngest trace the food labels as if they're reading it because they have learned that that's what their mother does. Children are like little pitchers. They will mimic what they see you do. So instill positive eating habits in them from the very beginning. Refined carbohydrates, which is white flour, breads, white potatoes, they turn to sugar, and therefore they're not healthy. And that's part of what you learn in my Ditch the Standard American Diet and Stop Eating Crap class. I also just found somebody who wrote a book and called it the MAD diet, the modern American diet. And why do they call it the MAD diet? Because it makes you mad and miserable. And that makes everybody around you mad and miserable too. So think about it. What you eat is impacting your moods, and that's impacting all the relationships in your life. I follow a functional nutritionist named Blanche Sharif, and she says sugar molecules play a crucial role in the viral infections, and viruses actually bind to them in order to gain entry into your cells. They've discovered that COVID, by the way, burrows into your fat, and so that would make sense that sugar molecules are entering into your cells. Sugar consumption in particular has been shown to affect COVID-19 mortality by contributing to the chronic inflammation state. Restriction of free sugar intake has measurable effect on disease in as little as 9 days. Published in the Journal of Medical Virology, that control the glucose with diet and exercise, as well as better control of sugar levels and diabetes, especially if you're ill with COVID-19, can help you control the severity of the disease and even its spread. Now, I was here a month ago almost and did my last podcast, and I haven't been able to come back because, I got COVID-19. And I have been excessively careful to stay away from people so that I wouldn't get it, because since I am immune compromised, I had no idea how my body would react. My body reacted pretty well, but I don't eat very much sugar, and I do eat tons of the rainbow and tons of vegetables. So yes, I've been vaccinated, and yes, I had been boosted, but my fever never went over 100, and the worst thing that happened to me was I got laryngitis and a really bad sore throat, but I went through it in 5 days. Now, since I am diabetic, and since I have autoimmune disease, I could have been a disaster with COVID-19. But because I've eaten so well and because I don't eat a lot of sugar, I believe that with the vaccinations got me kind of a free pass through the worst of it. And so if you're afraid of COVID-19, number one, my personal recommendation is you get the vaccines. I know that's a personal choice, but no matter what, clean up how you eat so that your body builds up a strong enough immune system so that you can withstand it. The functional medical community believes that the majority of America, 88%, is metabolically deficient, so that that's why we're getting hit so hard with COVID-19 in this country. So make sure you start today. Now, it will take you some time to build up resistance to viruses, but this says that in as little as 9 days, they have proven that control of glucose will help you against the severity of the disease. That's pretty significant. It's also believed now that the rapid reduction of modifiable risk factors, especially obesity, with its metabolic complications, should be a pillar for all of our public health policies and interventions for COVID-19. Why aren't we seeing this information as it would be very helpful in dealing with the virus? So in addition to them pulling for us to all get vaccinated, clean up what you eat. Give your body a chance to survive the attacks of these viruses. And trust me, this won't be the last one. I got Omicron. There's another one coming out of Asia already. So make sure that you start eating well today and build up resistance to disease. Diets high in sugar low in quality and eating poor quality fats and low in fiber all causes the body to develop a strong inflammatory response similar to being infected with dangerous bacteria. The prevalence of some chronic inflammation mediated diseases are stroke, chronic respiratory diseases, heart disorders, cancer, autoimmune disorders, obesity, and diabetes. So if you eat the rainbow and you follow these 45 things and you start slowly to implement all of these in your life, then you will lower your inflammation, which starts in the gut because you don't digest your food properly. If you do all this, you take care of your body will be your friend and take care of you. Next up, learn to read food labels. Food and other products that you can't pronounce, you just pass. So if you pick up something and you, woo, I don't know what half those things are, you're not going to eat it. So don't buy it in the first place. Avoid carrageenan. Carrageenan is considered a carcinogen, and it's in all kinds of things, including toothpaste. So look for carrageenan. It keeps things from separating. So even some milks, when I originally started buying almond milk, it had carrageenan in it. I wrote to the company, and I give them credit. They eliminated it from their product because they did their research and recognized how harmful it is. There's a lot of carrageenan in pet food, and that's one of the reasons our pets are getting so many more cancers. Take a look at the sugar amount on the label. 4 grams of sugar equals 1 teaspoon. Things have 20, 30, 40, 50 grams of sugar in them. Think about how many teaspoons of sugar that is with every serving. And make sure when you're reading labels, you're taking a look at the serving size, because very few of us just eat 1 serving. 1 serving might be this tiny little bit. So calculate how many servings you're going to eat per sitting and then multiply that out by the amount of sugar. And that's how many teaspoons you're going to put into your body if you buy that thing. When you're shopping at the store, stay away from BPA cans. They'll actually say BPA free on them. Sprouts brand, as an example, is BPA free by nature. They made the decision that if they were going to put their brand on it, it was going to be BPA free. Why is it important for it to be BPA free? Because it's mucking around with our hormones. Have you noticed how our kids are maturing so much earlier than, now I'm old, I'm 73, but kids are maturing way sooner than we did. And that's because we're mucking around with their hormones. And kids are maturing at 8 and 9 years old. And little boys are having less and less sperm as we're mucking around with their hormones. So all of this stuff is important. And then you want to make sure that you watch the salt levels in any label that you're buying something of. If you have any doubt, look up all the ingredients on ewg.org's database. They also have an app, so you can run it through the app and see whether you should be eating that or not. You can actually Google and look up how to read a nutrition label. I have it here. We can put it up above on the tape, but it's going to be tiny and you're not really going to be able to read it. So I strongly recommend that you Google and look up how to read a label, and then you look at what all the different things on that label mean so that you can control what goes into your mouth, because you have the power to do that. Next up, protein source. Food quality matters, and that does not make a difference. Food quality matters in terms of the protein that you're eating as well. If you do eat meat, make sure that it's what I call clean meat. What is clean meat? Clean meat is pastured. If it's beef, it's 100% grass-fed, grass-finished, and the grass-finished part is important. I just read that we've been kind of deceived because all cows eat grass in the beginning, but they're not all finished with grass. So it doesn't do you any good if you're buying grass-fed if it's not been grass-finished, because then he's eating GMO feed, which means you're going to get a healthy dose of either Bt toxin or glyphosate, because what the animal eats is what you eat. You want to make sure that you're eating clean meat that's grass-fed, grass-finished if he's beef, so that he doesn't have a lot of antibiotics and hormones added to him. Lambs, only like to eat in the pasture, so you can eat as much sheep, lamb meat as you want, because that is his species-specific diet. You can buy heritage pork, which means he eats a cleaner diet than other pork. You want to eat pastured chicken and pastured turkeys. And yep, they're more expensive, and yep, they're skinnier, but it's quality meat. And what you're looking for is quality because you want to control what goes into your body. Now, I am sensitive to chicken, so I can't eat chicken anymore. I miss it, but I can't eat it. But we do buy pastured turkey, and we cook it, and it's yummy. I know that the chickens are skinny, but they're good meat and they taste better. Years ago, I used to go all the time to Thailand because I designed jewelry for my own company. And most of the chickens I was eating in restaurants in Thailand were backyard chickens. And I couldn't get over how good the chicken tasted because it did not have all the crud added to his diet that we have added to our chickens here. Chickens are eating arsenic so that they land on your table and are healthy. You don't want that. So make sure that you pay the difference in price and save money in other places because food quality matters. If you're a vegan or vegetarian, avoid veggie junk food and make sure to include quality plant-based protein. If soy is your main source of protein, 95% of soy is genetically modified, so make sure that you're eating organic soy. And beans, organic beans are an excellent source of protein and fiber, so don't leave them out. Now, how do I afford to eat pastured meats? I afford to eat pastured meats because I eat less. I never eat more than the size of the palm of my hand, or the size of a deck of cards is what's recommended. I eat less than I used to because quality is more important to me than quantity. So make sure that you eat quality protein and you eat less so that your budget can afford for you to eat it. 3/4 of your plate should be vegetables, half of your plate should be fresh vegetables, and half of your plate should be cooked vegetables. And again, you only want to eat either organic or you want to eat fermented organic soy. Another quote from Dr. Greger from How Not to Die: plant-based diets aren't just safer and cheaper, they can work better because you're treating the actual cause of your disease. Dr. Greger does now eat clean meat, meat that eats his own specific diet, meat that has been humanely treated and that eats quality food himself. So remember, what your animal eats is what you eat. Okay, next up is oils. Avoid all the GMO oils. Why do you want to avoid the GMO oils? For 2 reasons. Most of them are omega-6s, so our ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s is completely out of balance. What you need are more good omega-3s and less omega-6s. Omega-6s aren't bad for you, but most of the omega-6s that are in our food are coming from genetically modified sources, which means you're getting the good old Bt toxin or the good old Roundup with every bite. Roundup has been known for 25 years by Monsanto's own research to cause cancer. So you don't want those things in your oils. You want to be eating the omega-3 oils. Now, what are the omega-3 oils? They have all kinds of health benefits for you, so that's a good thing. They improve your eye health, they improve your skin health, they slow aging, they reduce acne, they reduce the risk of osteoporosis, they improve bone health, they reduce asthma in children, and they reduce ADHD in children. I have a friend who has come up with a program to teach dyslexic children how to read in 2 weeks or less. One of the things that causes dyslexia, and it's closely related to ADHD, is a lack of omega-3 oils. So make sure you're getting your omega-3 oils. Now, what are they? They are, here we go, ghee, which is a special oil that's really good for your body. And if you have never had ghee, I can't have butter, but it's butter that's had the milk solids removed. And so it's yummy. I cook with it. I use it in place of butter. And what it doesn't have is the casein and the whey in it, which I am sensitive to. It makes me get inflammation. Grass-fed organic butter is good for you. Grass-fed, grass-finished organic butter. Olive oil, avocado oil, wild fish like salmon and mackerel is loaded with omega-3 oils, coconut oil, grapeseed oil, nut and seed oils, and flaxseed oils. Those are your good oils. The omega-6 oils that are genetically modified are sunflower oil, safflower oils, corn oils, soybean oils, and canola oil. Canola oil is not good for you, so for God's sake, stop eating it. It's in everything. And it's what restaurants use. And if you ask for olive oil at a restaurant, ask them to bring you the bottle, because most likely it's 80% canola and 20% olive oil. It's not even green. So I take olive oil with me when I'm going to eat a salad at a restaurant because I don't trust what they're going to give me. And I don't want those things in my body. Okay, next up. Become familiar with the Dirty Dozen Clean 15 list. If the fruit or the vegetable is on the Dirty Dozen list, buy it organic. You don't need a heavy dose of poison with every bite. The list has been sprayed, if it's on the dirty side, with pesticides and herbicides, and they are really dirty. The list is put out every year by EWG.org, and the items could have as many as 73 health-threatening toxins on them. They also are disrupting our bee and our butterfly population. And without pollinators, gang, we're not going to have food pretty soon. So it's important. These toxins are known as probable carcinogens, suspected hormone disruptors, developmental and reproduction toxins, and environmental toxins. If it's on the Dirty Dozen side of the list, absolutely, that's where you spend your money to buy organic. These foods have dozens of toxins on them, and you can't wash them up. They grow right up in the plant, so avoid them. If the item's on the Clean 15 side of the card, then not to worry, you can buy it conventional, but I still opt to buy organic whenever possible because I want to protect my body, and I sure as heck don't ever want to get sick again. If the fruit or the vegetable has been genetically modified, that's a different list. And both of these lists, the Dirty Dozen Clean 15 and the genetically modified lists, are on my website. So go look them up. You want to stay away from them. And for a while they were putting a special PLU code on genetically modified, and it was starting with an 8. Well, they decided that was a bad idea. They're actually hiding it now. They want you to scan the fruit or vegetable to know if it's genetically modified, because they want to protect the farmers who are growing the genetically modified things from the genetically modified seed, because that's how powerful Monsanto and now Bayer are. But don't let them do that to you. You don't have to buy this stuff. Familiarize yourself with what is genetically modified and avoid it like the plague. Next up, invest in smaller plates. I started doing this even before I think I got sick with autoimmune disease. I eat from the lunch plates in my set. On occasion, I serve on the bigger plates, but my lunch plates get a whole lot of use because that's what we eat our dinner from. We don't fill up the whole plate. We have the smaller plate that we use for our meals, so we eat less, and we're more likely to only eat to 80% full by using our lunch plates. So we've gone from a 12-inch plate to a 10-inch plate, so you end up eating 23% less. That one's a pretty easy one to implement. Next up, stop eating when you're 80% full. We've already talked about that, but let me talk about what the benefits of that are. There are benefits to feeling a little bit hungry. Who'da thunk? Hunger boosts the growth hormone, aids in regeneration, and helps keeping you looking and feeling young. A little hunger energizes the body. Again, it's a powerful tool That could backfire if overdone, but eating 24/7 will see that it never occurs, which isn't good. The type of eating where you're constantly filled to the gills is something that is counterproductive. Letting yourself get a little hungry before you next eat doesn't mean I'm asking you to starve yourself. It means hunger before meals boosts your growth hormones, which aids in your regeneration and keeps your skin looking young. It's really good for your telomeres. Now, we've talked about telomeres in a couple of podcasts. They're the tips of your DNA, and if they start to deteriorate, you start to age. So this actually helps keep those tips, which are like the tips on shoelaces, healthy and strong so that you slow the aging process. Don't get so hungry that you start making bad food decisions. Always keep healthy food choices close, like nuts or apples. I always even keep an emergency pack in my car because if I get too hungry, I'm liable to put just about anything in my mouth and into my body, and I don't want to lose control that way. So instead of focusing on what you're going to cut out of your diet, start this year by focusing what you need to add to your meals. Beans are the number one longevity food and a staple in all 5 blue zone regions. A couple beans are standard amongst the world's longest lived peoples, so stock up on chickpeas, lentils, black beans, kidney beans, soybeans, and other beans. But again, you want them to be organic. Soybeans are not. And enjoy them in hummuses, soups, stews, and salads. I skipped something. That is under the heading, Eat More Beans and Pulses. So stop thinking about what you're going to eliminate from your diet and start thinking about things you can add to your diet, and more beans and pulses are amongst them. They're loaded with fiber and they are a basic foundational food of all the blue zone areas. And to remind you what the blue zone areas are, they are the areas in the world where people live the longest. So if you want to live long and thrive and you don't want to lose your brain, all of the principles of the blue zones are important to keep in mind. Okay? 17, take a good probiotic and eat prebiotics. I take Clear probiotics. Doesn't matter which one you take, you just need to make sure it's a quality probiotic. It feeds the good gut bacteria in your gut. And for prebiotics, you can eat foods like jicama, onions, garlic, leeks, rye, and chicory, and you can eat fermented foods. Your gut is so important. Your whole food diet protects your health because it's the foundation for your microbiome. Your gut microbiome influences dozens of health conditions that include depression, chronic fatigue syndrome, Parkinson's disease, metabolism, poor digestion, allergies, and cancer. Your gut bacteria is also linked to anxiety and the regions of the brain that process emotions. These regions share brain circuit that affects cardiovascular issues such as blood pressure. And one other reason that your gut is such a primary location, it's where your whole immune system is. It's in the walls of your gut. So if you disrupt the gut microbiome, you automatically disrupt your immune system. So take a good probiotic, eat prebiotics, eat fermented foods. It's all really good for you. And by eating a diet that is wide in fruits and vegetables, you're eating an alkaline diet, which will also protect you from GERD. And stomach acid reflux medications are not good for your body. So by eating an alkaline diet of fruits and vegetables in all the colors of the rainbow and avoiding smoking and secondhand smoke, you'll maintain a healthy weight, you will eat smaller meals, you'll move around a little bit after you eat, you'll avoid tight-fitting clothing around the middle, and your body will function generally better all the way around. Food and mood. There is a connection between your gut bacteria and your mood. If you think nutrition when wondering why you are feeling a certain way, every mood, even in response to a real situation, is moderated by major neurotransmitters, MOA, and I'm not going to try to pronounce all of these, epinephrine, neoephrine, serotonin, and dopamine. They're all influenced by nutrition. This is no surprise. Research has elaborated on how nutrient depletion show up as depression, anxiety, sleeplessness, antisocial, addictive, and even criminal behaviors. In fact, neurotransmitter dysfunctions can influence food and drink choices. The fact it is now known that amino acids, B vitamins, and other nutrients can help restore and heal your brain chemistry. So if you're having dark moods or depression, take a look at what you're eating. If I'm feeling it all blue when I get up in the morning, and I've told you, I have a conversation every morning with myself in the mirror, and I ask myself, hey Cheryl, how are you feeling today? And if I'm feeling blue at all, I go through my brain like a computer and look at what I ate the day before, and then I make sure that I add all the colors of the rainbow and a nice big healthy green salad into what I'm going to eat that day, which almost always lifts my mood right back up. The most prevalent legal drug that can create the above imbalances is sugar. It can cause a post-meal hypoglycemic event, which is correlated with everything from phobias to self-isolation to self-harmful thoughts to rage. Food has now been shown to have another powerful influence on everything that has to do with our personality. Depression. The factor that determines which microbes will thrive in your gut and which won't is your diet. Since your gut bacteria eat what you eat, this is something to think about. If you're feeling down, anxious, foggy, or downright depressed, it isn't just coming from your brain, it's coming from your gut. So change what you feed your gut bacteria, change your brain, change your mood. Your intestinal tract has all those tiny little organisms that are sending chemical signals to your body and your brain. The brain-gut axis does and will affect your mental state. This shows the biggest factor in both your mood and your health depends on your diet. 6 ways to eliminate depression. Eat whole, real food. Cut out the sugar. Exercise regularly. Studies show exercise is as good as and even better than antidepressants because it puts out feel-good mood hormones. And so that's a good thing. You want to exercise, you want to move, and that will send signals to your brain that make you happy. Get enough sleep. Terrible sleep contributes to and exacerbates depression. So you want to aim for 7 to 8 hours of continual uninterrupted sleep every night. You want to control your stress levels. One of the very first podcasts I did was on breathing and controlling stress. So go back and watch that. I breathe every morning and every afternoon for 4 minutes to take the top off my stress. I also have a little desktop book that you can buy on Amazon that gives you a variety of different ways that you can relieve your stress. I breathe on the way to my doctor's office when I'm sitting in Los Angeles traffic because that way I have the best blood pressure and of almost any patient that she has on the lowest pulse. But the key is not just to fool your doctor with low pulse and low blood pressure. The key is to keep your blood pressure low so that you're good to your heart, so that you feel good all the time. And then finally, take the right nutrients. Phytonutrients help alleviate depression and support optimal brain health, including omega-3 fatty acids and 5-HTP. You want the B vitamins, you want folate, they're all really good for your brain. Okay, I think this is a good place to stop. We're at exactly an hour, and then we'll continue on from here through the balance of the 45 ways that you have control over your body and your health if you make simple, modest changes to your lifestyle. They will have huge benefits to your long-term longevity, brain health, business health, relationships. This stuff affects everything. So take the ones that resonate with you and start to implement them right away, because you can make a difference in your long-term health, making some very simple moves, which I'm talking about in these podcasts. Okay? Thank you for joining me. We'll continue with the next things next time. And you're important and you're worth it. So make sure you take the time to implement these things, because they will give you a happier, healthier, long-term life. Thank you. Hello, could I see a show of hands if there's anybody out there like me who's tried to lose weight their whole life and not been successful? So you've tried all the different diets available. You've tried Weight Watcher. You've tried Jenny Craig. You've tried all the New York Times bestsellers. And the last time you did it, you started off great, just like all the other times. And you started losing weight, and then all of a sudden you fell off the horse. And before you know it, you're eating fast food and processed food again with all that sugar, and you don't even know why. And in the end, you've gained more weight than where you started out. So you now are beating yourself up that you just don't have the willpower to win. If that's you, I want to address the elephant in the room, because 9 years ago, I got autoimmune disease and started researching because I didn't want the pain that came with the autoimmune disease, and the added benefit was I lost the weight along the way. So let me tell you what happens. Big Food doesn't want you to win. They've rigged the system. They've put so many chemicals into fast food and processed food that they light up the brain like a pinball machine. It's the same part of the brain that goes off for cocaine and heroin, and you feel great when you eat that food, but it's not making you feel good, and you're starving your body for nutrition because it's loaded with empty calories. So you're getting fat eating that food, and it's not giving your body what you need. And it's turning off all your own feel-good hormones of serotonin and dopamine and even your insulin, which keeps your moods even. But worse than that, there's two little hormones here at the back of your neck called ghrelin and leptin, and they don't work, and they regulate your appetite because all those chemicals have subdued them, so you don't even know when you're full. So what did I learn to do instead? I'm eating the GLAD diet, loaded with all the phytonutrients that my body needs to be healthy and to thrive and to boost my immune system and to ditch the pain. And along the way of eating all this live food, I lost 60 pounds without dieting. You see, I was starving my body for nutrition when I was eating the standard American diet, and now that I'm giving my body all those beautiful phytonutrients, it's not holding on to it anymore, so it's just dropping it automatically. So don't eat the standard American diet. I don't want you to get a standard American disease, and I certainly don't want you to die the standard American death. Instead, start eating the GLAD diet, because by eating all those beautiful phytonutrients, you will be healthier and you will live long and thrive. Thank you.